Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Big Blonde and Beautiful, the podcast. If you're new here, my name's Kara, and each week I pick a piece of media with fat representation in it. I talk about the good and the bad. This week, we're going to be talking about the TV series Parks and Recreation. But before we get into that, I have a special guest with me this week, Allie Hunt. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Would you like to tell our listeners a little bit about who you are and what you do?
I would love to. So my name is Allie. I am a content creator, podcaster, and I do all the things. I like to say that I am mostly a confidence creator. My favorite thing to do is just to help people feel amazing about themselves. So that's really my passion.
I love that. That's so cool. Yeah, I saw that you have 2 podcasts, right? You're part of 2?
I did. I kicked the other one in the bucket, my solo podcast. So now I just have my podcast with my girlies called the Four Fab Fatties.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, can you tell our listeners what that's a little bit about?
Absolutely. So basically, me and three of my very good friends, we basically we got tired of being the only fat friends in our friend group, so we got together and made a group of fat friends, and we talk about everything and anything to do with, growing up fat, living in fat bodies now, and um, all the ups and downs of it, the great parts about having fat community and fat advocacy and all of those amazing things, and the hate that we get along with it, and how we realize that society really kind of decided for us what our lives were going to look like, and how we've decided that we're done with that.
All right, so this week we're talking about Parks and Rec, and for those of you who somehow haven't seen this show, I'm going to give a little synopsis of it. So, Leslie Knope is a mid-level bureaucrat in the Indiana Parks and Recreation Department. She hopes to beautify her town by helping local nurse Ann Perkins turn an abandoned construction site into a community park. But what should be a fairly simple project is, I didn't read this before, is I'm just going to say halted. Is halted at every turn by oafish bureaucrats, selfish neighbors, governmental red tape, and a myriad of other challenges. Leslie's colleague Tom Haverfer, who delights in exploiting his position for personal gain, is as likely to undermine her efforts as to help her, while her boss, Ron Swanson, is admittedly opposed to government in any form, even though he's a bureaucrat himself. So that's what the show's about.
In a nutshell, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot more like subplots and things, but yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
So you're a fan of Parks and Rec, as
Big
you
fan.
said when we DM'd. Me too. Watch this show all the time. I hadn't watched it in a while, so this gave me an excuse to rewatch it and
Love that.
still laugh at it.
Yeah.
I always say that Leslie and Ben are like my favorite TV couple
Oh
ever.
my God. I
So
just like
good.
hashtag couple goals, like Leslie and Ben forever. Ben Wyatt was written by a woman. He just was.
Yeah.
He had to have been. And I don't even know. But
I don't know, but yes.
yes, he's just so great. He's so great and so supportive, and I just love him.
Yeah, they're just so equal, and he supports Leslie so much, and it's just so good. It's what
I
every
love it.
relationship should be.
I know, I love it. There's so many shows that just they go on far too long and kind
Yeah,
of ruin the magic of it. Parks and Rec, they ended it. I mean, did I want it to go on longer? Sure, but I felt like it ended perfectly. I felt like every episode was something that like was just so enjoyable to watch, and it wasn't like, ugh, this again. And it was every single character, whether it was a main character or like, oh, what was his name? Jeremy Jams. Like somebody,
yes,
right? Like it just even like a minor character, like they still had such a role. Like every character had a role to play, and they were great.
yes. I was just, as you were saying that, I was thinking about Jeremy. Oh my goodness, that man, he's
Terrible
awful, but
person. Terrible person.
hilarious. There are quite a few fat, like, characters, even ensemble in this show. The first one I have for us to talk about is Jerry. Poor Jerry,
Okay.
Larry, Gary,
Poor Jerry, Larry, Gary.
all the names.
Jerry, Larry, Gary. Man.
I call him Jerry. He's Jerry to me.
He's also Jerry to me. He's Jerry
Yeah.
to me. Like that's just the OG, right? OG is
Mhm.
Jerry. Jerry, I have mixed feelings about Jerry. I
Yeah.
love Jerry. Don't get me wrong, I love Jerry. I have mixed feelings about Jerry about the way that Jerry is treated, right?
Mhm. Oh yeah.
As the stereotypical fat man, right? Do you feel like they gave Jerry some justice later on down the line when it turned out that Claudia Schiffer was his wife, right? Like, it's like, okay, I do love that for Jerry, but
Y-
the whole, the whole entire series, everything is about picking on Jerry, and yes, his size, his looks, his intelligence, everything. He's fodder for everybody, right?
yeah. Yeah, he also I read that the writers actually gave him like a great home life, a beautiful wife, and at one point a big penis.
I love that.
Because they felt bad that he was constantly picked on. But then I'm also like, you wrote it. You could change that. Like you didn't
Exactly.
it didn't have to be that, but then they were like, this makes up for it. We'll just make him have a huge dick and everything will be great.
And a model for a wife. I'm like, okay, all
Yeah.
right, like
Which
just take
I'm
all this
glad that
abuse
they
and we'll give you
yeah.
Claudia Schiffer. Cool, thanks.
I am glad that they at least gave him that because if not, I feel like it would have been really, really, really bad because they are relentless. He has these like amazing, sometimes has amazing ideas for things, and they like won't even listen to him because they're like, "Oh, it's Jerry."
But
I'm like,
truly,
guys,
truly, and there's like, I think I can at least think off the top of my head at least five scenarios where if they had just listened to Jerry, like there wouldn't have even been an episode. Which, again, I mean, I realize that's TV, but like if you
yeah,
had just listened to Jerry, he had it. He had it.
yeah,
He knew the solution, right?
mm-hmm,
But yeah, he's just that stereotypical the funny fat guy, right? And he wasn't
yeah,
even like that funny. It was just that they made it funny to laugh at him. So
yeah. I'd say
I
that
felt a
he's
little
probably
icky.
one of the least funny characters in the show, to be
Absolutely.
honest.
Absolutely. They just set him up to be laughed at.
Yeah, he doesn't really make many jokes. The joke is him.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he even has like he's like you said the cliche of the like fat, clumsy um guy, not
Yeah.
the brightest, but he is.
He
But like
is.
they're like no he's not, which is so like what?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, and then at one point, he has a heart attack or a fart attack.
Ready and
No!
Jerry! God, gross.
Oh,
Jerry!
guys,
Oh God. Oh, I think he might be having a heart attack.
What? Are you serious? Oh, so much stuff is happening right now.
Call 911.
Medically speaking, how would you describe what happened to Jerry?
He had a mild heart attack.
Yeah, but he also exhibited excessive flatulence. Is there a term for having a heart attack while releasing so much gas?
Not really. Gastrointestinal distress is common during a cardiac event.
I just want to hear the doctor say that Jerry had a fart attack. Is that too much to ask?
And I'm like, that just of course he does because he's a fat man.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Like that's literally what goes through my mind anytime that I rewatch that episode. Like, of course he does.
He also hurt his arm or like pulled something trying to get a burrito in a
That's right.
creek
That's right.
and then lied about it because he was embarrassed because he knew
Yeah. That they
like
were going to
they
make
would
fun
make
of
fun
him.
of him.
Mm-hmm.
Because um they're like he says, imagine what Tom would say. And then it jumps to Leslie and she goes, damn, Jerry, you jumped in the creek for a burrito? What would you do
Yes.
for a Klondike bar?
look, I was on my way to feed the hummingbirds, and I stopped for a breakfast burrito. And with Lord Sheldon, he lunged at a bird. I dropped the burrito, and it lands on a log in the creek. So I go to reach for it, I lose my balance, and I fall on my shoulder. Really weird.
Well, why didn't you just tell everybody the truth?
Are you kidding me? Imagine what Tom would have said.
Damn, Jerry! You jumped in a creek for a burrito? What'd you do for a Klondike bar? Kill your wife?
And I'm like, it's like, it's
And I
funny,
even
but
feel bad
also,
laughing about it now, right? And
yeah,
they write it for you to laugh at it, right? But it's
mm-hmm,
still like, of course you're laughing at the fat guy because they're throwing out like a fat guy is obsessed with food. The fat guy has a fart attack. The fat guy is stupid or clumsy or lazy. Like it just so stereotypical. So stereotypical.
Yeah. Poor Jerry, man. They
Poor
just
Jerry.
they really did a number on him.
And then you feel bad. Well, I'm probably jumping ahead of you here, but it's like you also
No,
have to
you're
feel
fine.
bad for him because on the complete opposite of that, Donna is like worshipped, right? And I mean, chef's kiss the way that they treated Donna. Like
Oh
Donna's
yeah.
body was never a topic of conversation.
Nope.
Donna's relationship status was never like, I can't get a man because I'm a fat girl. Like she got the man, she got the ring, she got everything she wanted. She was the treat yourself. Like I am the queen of this place. You can't tell me shit. Like just the absolute queen. And she was so respected and so revered. And it's like,
And then
y'all
you have
see the way that
Jerry.
you're treating Jerry, right? But like,
I know, it's literally polar opposites. It's crazy. I was just about to bring that up to transition to Donna because it is, and also with her having so many male partners, no one questions it. They're just
right.
like, "Oh yeah, they're not like they don't do to her what they do to Jerry, which is how is she getting these men?" It's
Mm-hmm.
just like, "Yeah, that's Donna. She has like 10 men on retainer. One of them's in her car right now."
Let's talk about personal relationships. Who wants to start? Donna?
I have several men in rotation. One's waiting for me out in the car. Don't worry, I roll down the window.
Yeah. I
Like
mean, hell yeah, she's hot as fuck, right? She is literally like super hot black woman. Like just she commands presence every time she walks into a room. And I love that for her. But again, it is like for Jerry as a character, you have to be like, I thought maybe we could be on some level like fat friends, right? And it's like, no,
no.
there is no world where they're the same. And she even, it is a little sad because Donna is part of the
Yeah.
the making fun of
The Jerry
Jerry, you know?
bashing.
Yeah,
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 they all are. I don't think there's one person, even Ben, who kind of tries to befriend Jerry, still falls into the like, he's
yeah.
the one that's more obsessed with the how are you with your wife? Like,
Yes.
is she under hypnosis?
Is she
Like, what?
okay?
Hair, blonde hair, big breasts, long legs. Ugh, not my type at all.
And what was it exactly that led to you two hitting it off? Was she ill? Or did your father witness her father committing a crime?
But I will say that Donna, there are a couple times where she like feels bad enough for Jerry because of how they're treating him that she's like, guys, we got to do better. But the one that comes to mind is like when they put $1 in the Jerry jar or whatever for
Yeah,
every time they laugh at him, and then they have a
yeah,
dinner. And she's like, we are being mean. We should invite Jerry to Jerry dinner or whatever.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, maybe just, I don't know, maybe just don't do that.
Now she was the one that did recognize like his strengths, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember that envelope stuffing
Yeah.
episode where he's like just going at it, right? And then it turns out he did all of them backwards, right? And he had to redo it. But she sat down with him. She sat down with him and was like watching him, and she was like so in awe. So she was the one who was like, I see your strengths,
Yeah,
like I see you, right? But it's
exactly.
still, I would have loved to see a little bit more solidarity between the two. But again, it's also, I do recognize, like, I do recognize also that Donna is also like, she's a fat black woman, right? So she's
Mm-hmm.
already carrying enough on her back, right? She's
Yeah.
already having to carry so much on her back already. So having to pull up unfortunately, a fat white man, it's not her job. It's not her
Yeah.
job, right?
And it is also how our society is built is if you're able to be better than even just one person, then that is like justification for
Yeah.
all that. And it's unfortunate because like it's also like with women, I'm like, why are we fighting each other? Like there's so
Oh, I
many
know it.
people who doubt us and come after us. Why can't we just like get along?
Why
And
is there any resentment between women? That is like something that's just unforgivable to me.
mhm,
Just there are ways to make your light shine brighter, and I would be happy to help you figure out how to make your light shine brighter, but I'm not going to dim mine for you.
exactly. Could have been Donna and Jerry, kind of, but
Could have been.
no,
Could have been.
not. Although he does become mayor
He does.
in the last season.
He does. I
Yeah,
think he becomes mayor and like for like a long time until he
yeah,
dies. And
yeah,
spoiler alert, I guess. But he winds up being mayor for like a long time and he's like honored and everything. But then I think that they do like they spell his name wrong on his headstone or something.
probably. I can't remember. I don't think I quite made it that far in my rewatch.
That's fair.
I was
'Cause I mean,
like,
it's a lot to rewatch. It's like 7
yeah,
seasons.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he does become mayor and he is beloved, but it's like kind of it's like a small snippet of an episode. It's not even the
Right.
whole episode, I don't think.
Yeah.
So eventually he gets his comeuppance, but he had to go through a lot. I don't know if it evens out the scale of all the things they put him through.
I wouldn't say so. No.
No.
But I mean, guess we'd have to ask Jerry, but Jerry's dead, so.
Yeah, R.I.P. to a king. I also keep thinking about the fact that Leslie said she was going to run for office in 2024, and I'm like, we need our Leslie Nope
Where
now.
is Leslie Nope? Leslie Nope for president. I would vote for her in a heartbeat. I would vote for her
Honestly,
in a heartbeat.
Amy Poehler could just jump in third party acting as Leslie, and I'd be like, yes, I'll vote for you.
Honestly, Amy Poehler could
Yeah.
just jump in and I'd vote for her. Amy Poehler, can you pick Tina Fey to run as your VP? I'm in. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. And so I'm like, please. I know it's not going to happen, but also, like, I want it so
But
bad.
honestly, like, could it be any worse?
No. No, my brother keeps saying, he's like, I want The Rock to run. And I'm like, I'd vote for The Rock too.
At this point, I think Robert Kennedy is looking at having Aaron Rodgers as his running mate. And I'm like, what? 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 This is what? Where are we?
I know.
Where are we?
But
Aaron
should you?
Rodgers, you sit the fuck down, Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Number one, you are still anti-vax. Number two, you spread some stuff back in the day. You spread some stuff back in the day. You talked some shit at a derby about whether or not Sandy Hook was just a bunch of actors. I'm gonna need you to sit all the way down, sir.
Didn't know that one.
Now you do.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
now
no.
you do. Yeah.
Oh.
And now he says, I am not of the opinion that never happened. But he doesn't deny that he never said it.
And he also isn't like, it did happen. He's just kind of like, I'm impartial.
He's terrible.
Okay, well, that's something to look forward to. Like I said, Leslie Nope, 2024. Amy Poehler, we need you now more than ever.
Come on, Amy. And Tina, you can even do your Sarah Palin voice. Please.
Yeah.
I can see Russia from my house.
I'm all for it. Also, something else I had in my notes for this was, so Pawnee's like motto for a long time is first in friendship, fourth in obesity. And they also do a lot of connecting like being fat. I'm not gonna say obesity because I really hate that word. Being fat to having diabetes.
Yep.
And like the two they're not always connected.
Nope.
And a lot of people who are fat do not have diabetes and vice versa. And I'm just like, why is this the narrative?
You're so right. You're so right. It is a very central theme. And what is that? I can't think of the name now, but like those like massive soda cups and
They're
the
like
burgers, the sodas.
Paunch Burger, is that what it is?
I want to say that, but
I
at
think
the
it's
same
Paunch
time,
Burger.
I feel like that's like reminding me of Rick and Morty for some reason. But I think it is Paunch Burger.
Yeah.
Because like Paunch Burger, and then Paul Rudd is involved with that somehow. But like he's like the son or something. I can't remember.
He's the
That
son
was the
for
Candy Factory.
Sweetums.
Sweetums. That's
Yeah.
what that was. Okay. No, Paunch Burger with like those massive cups and everything. Like, and it was like, you're so right. Like it was those only fat people would get those size cups, and only like fat people would indulge in all of this. And it was just this overarching theme of fat people. We're just
Yeah.
a town of fat people, and they're all gonna have diabetes, and it's like, give me a fucking break.
Well, yeah. For like I said, those don't all correlate. But
No,
also, like, if everything in your town is Sweetums or Paunchburger, none of your citizens are gonna be healthy. It doesn't matter if they're fat or not. There's
100%.
none of them.
Not
So
at all.
I don't know why they're all so concerned about the fat people and not just everyone in general. Because Anne's very much like diabetes,
Yeah,
and we gotta fix this place.
yeah,
And
yeah. And meanwhile, like Ron Swanson, everywhere he walks into, he's like, I want all the meat you have. Just all the meat.
yeah,
Not like I think you misunderstand. I literally want all the meat you have.
Just give me all the bacon and eggs you have. Wait. I worry what you just heard was, give me a lot of bacon and eggs. What I said was, give me all the bacon and eggs you have. Do you understand?
he literally is like a champion of eating at multiple places. When he's trying to go off the grid, he has to go to multiple different restaurants
Yeah,
to
yeah.
take his picture down. He's like, why are other people so bad at eating? But I do
Yeah.
respect him with the sugar tax or whatever. No, the soda tax is what it was called. Because he's like, let people do what they want. It's their bodies. If they decide to drink like a child size, which they say is basically like if you took a 2 or 3 year old child and made them into liquid,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
What would a sane person call that small?
Well, if the customer truly wants a smaller size, there is an option.
Oh, do you mean the little swallow?
Well, Paunchburger just recently came out with a new 128-ounce option. Most people call it a gallon, but they call it the regular. Then there is a horrifying 512-ounce version that they call child size. How is this a child size soda?
Well, it's roughly the size of a 2-year-old child if the child were liquefied.
Like, that's an interesting concept. Okay.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's like, just let people live. And
Yeah.
it is what
Yeah.
it is.
That's the thing. It's like just all these people that are like they pretend they're so concerned. They're so
Mhm.
concerned for your health. No, you're not. No, you're
No,
not. You don't give a shit about my health. You just can't stand to see a fat girl happy. You can't stand to see because
exactly.
society told you that we're not supposed to be. We're supposed to be
Mhm.
miserable and hate ourselves, and we're supposed to be good fat girls and order salads and talk about Weight Watchers, and we're for damn sure not supposed to be out in bikinis, right? So it's like
Yeah.
we're not doing what society said we should be doing. So you have a real problem with that.
And I think there's a lot of like unintentionally ableist humor as well with that. And then like they also Pawnee is known for also being very poor. And I
Yeah.
think that plays a big role in their like having so many fat citizens is because if like let's be honest, it costs a lot more to go get a salad than it does to like get a dollar burger off of the
100%.
McDonald's menu. Like
100%.
and neither is necessarily wrong, but like your health is important, but that doesn't mean that you have to be a smaller size. So I think they just talk about the fat part and they don't talk about like the causes of
Yeah.
people being
Yeah.
unhealthy in their town.
Yeah, and I
So
mean, but you're so right though. I mean, and you can take all the opinion out of it. It is truly a fact that it is more expensive to eat quote unquote healthy. It is
mhm.
more expensive to buy, fresh organic, produce and ingredients and all these things than it is to go and buy. And even think about like, um, think about programs that are made to assist people,
Mhm.
like EBT and WIC programs, right? It's still mostly processed foods that they're
Yeah.
able to get, right? And so
Mhm.
it's like, you're not doing anybody any help here, right? So it still is, it's so much more expensive to buy rather than just getting the process, the quote unquote easy stuff, right? And
Yeah.
the thing is, it's also when you think about a a town like Pawnee where they say everybody's so poor, right? And I mean, shit, I'm poor, right? And
Yeah,
like I would
me too.
literally probably to afford like I don't know, the house that Ann Perkins had, right? I would even be working 3 jobs. And would
Mm-hmm.
I have time to be making a healthy, organic, you know, dinner every night? Absolutely not. I would be grabbing some
No.
pizza rolls, you know, because it's cheaper and quicker.
Yep. There you go.
So
Even Leslie eats like so much sugar.
just
She's no
waffles.
like
All the
yeah,
waffles.
waffles, so much whipped cream. She loves those Nutri-Yum bars that are like
Yes.
filled with sugar. She drinks one of those huge like
Hmm.
sodas.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and she's thin and no one is like, "Hey well, Anne is a little bit, but mostly no one's like, "Hey Leslie, maybe like cut back just a little on that," but
Mm.
also like it's none of their business. So I guess it's a good thing that they don't comment on it. But
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. It is such a it's a double-edged sword.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
also remember the episode when they're doing the Harvest Festival and
Mm.
they talk about like how they're building a roller coaster that's made for fat people, and I'm like, shouldn't all roller coasters be made like that? Wouldn't that be crazy?
Wouldn't it
Oh
be
my
crazy? And for all the people
gosh.
that are like, well, if you want to fit everywhere, why don't you just lose weight? What if I said the same thing to you, right? Like, let's
Mhm.
flip that. And what if every seat was too big for a
Mhm.
skinny person, right? Like, you can't go on that roller coaster, not skinny person, a straight size person, whatever.
Yeah.
You can't go on that roller coaster because it's not built for you. It's too big, and
Mhm.
therefore the restraints will not hold you in. It's not safe for you, right?
Mhm.
How would that make you feel? Pretty shitty, huh?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you just gain weight? How does that feel? Right? Everybody deserves access. Everybody
Mhm.
deserves to travel, to go on a roller coaster, to sit in a comfortable chair at a fucking restaurant, right? Everybody
Yes.
deserves access. And just saying, well, why don't you lose? No. If if the entire population has grown in size, like year over year, the average has gotten bigger. And now
Mhm.
like the average I think the average American woman is like a 16, 18, maybe, where it used
Yeah.
to be that it was like what, 6'8" maybe or an 8'10".
Yeah, I
I'm
think it
not
was
sure
an
back in the
8-10, I
day.
think, but
Like it the times have changed, the sizes have
mhm.
changed. None of that has changed. The airline
Yeah.
seats haven't changed, the restaurant seats haven't changed, the roller coaster seats haven't changed. And it's like, why why can't we adapt?
And you're losing more of a demographic. Like year after year, if people are um the average is bigger and you're saying the same, you're losing customers. That's what I don't get. I'm like, you're literally losing business. What do you
100%. Like
mean?
if you think if you truly believe that a fat girl is going to come into your restaurant and eat the entire menu, don't you want to have a comfortable seat for her? Because she's going to spend money, right? Don't you
Mhm.
want to have a comfortable seat for her, right? Like I get, oh my god, I will go on such a rant here, but like I even think about like all these hotels and like these luxury resorts. I have never seen myself in their marketing, right? And it's like
Mhm.
we like vacations, right? We like to
Yeah.
go nice places and take our Instagram pictures on the beach and in the pools, and I never see myself in their marketing. And it's like,
Mhm.
do you think that none of us have jobs? Do you think that we don't have money and we don't go anywhere? Like we do. But you're not asking for our dollars. You assume
No.
that we either don't have dollars to spend or we don't want to come out of our shells to like to be on your beaches. We do. Advertise to us too, right?
Yeah. Or they don't think that we deserve to have those luxuries or have I
Mhm.
feel like that's a I've seen that a lot when creators have been like, I want to travel comfortably. I want to be able to go to places like Universal and ride every ride and not have to literally sit in front of everyone in a mock seat to see if I will fit on this ride. That is the worst. I would no.
Dehumanizing.
Yeah. And
Dehumanizing.
people are like, well, basically, you don't deserve to have fun and enjoy your life unless you lose weight.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not an argument. That's not
No.
an argument. Like people don't understand that And I'm not saying like if somebody wants to be fat, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Like I don't think that we can sit and be like, you know, absolutely outraged at the Supreme Court for taking away rights to, women's bodies or people who have uteruses, right? And taking away
Mhm.
those rights and then turn around and say, we're super mad at somebody who wants to either gain weight or lose weight, right? Like everybody should have the right to do whatever the fuck they want with their body, right?
Yeah.
On that same token, there are people that truly like it's not they just assume that it's our fault that we're fat,
Mhm.
right? It is your fault. You're a moral failure. You've clearly done something wrong. You are just like it's your fault that you're fat. And that's where I was saying like there are people that do want to, right? And that's
Yeah.
perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. Do you, boo, do what you want to do with your body. But like putting morals on it and like you have failed, you have all of these things, and therefore you don't deserve those
Yeah.
pleasures in life. You don't deserve to travel. You don't deserve the luxury vacations. You don't deserve to sit on the roller coaster. You don't deserve a comfortable seat at a restaurant. What? Everybody
Yeah.
deserves. Everybody.
This is why I do this podcast because I feel like a lot of people don't realize how much media plays a part in how society views you and how you view yourself. Because a lot of times someone's moral character is shown with their body. And
Mm-hmm.
as they lose their moral character, they become bigger or, vice versa.
Yep.
And I just saw that in I don't know if you've seen the new Wonka movie with
Uh-uh.
Timothée Chalamet,
No.
but Michael Key's character, he's like
Okay.
an officer and the more corrupt he becomes, the fatter he becomes. And I'm like, that was not necessary.
That's such a
And
tired trope.
I
That's such a
know
tired trope.
all the fat shame tropes are. I'm like,
I mean, all the villains, like growing up, right? As little girls, we watched the princesses
mhm.
were all looked a certain way,
Yeah.
and the villains all looked a certain way, right? Ursula, the Queen of Hearts, right? Like
Mhm.
thin is
Coincidence?
good,
I
fat is
think
bad, right?
not. Yeah.
That's what they taught us. That's what they taught us. And like the whole like you don't deserve this or you like it's so mind-blowing when it truly is. I think going back to your original point, I don't think people truly understand that like they're not really afraid to be fat.
Mhm.
They're afraid to be fat because of the way that fat people are treated.
Yeah.
They're afraid to be treated like a fat person.
And I think especially with celebrities cuz they are so under a microscope, when we see certain celebrities lose weight, I mean some of it might be their choice. They might have made that choice anyway had they not had the pressure, but I think a lot of it is they're tired of being treated like garbage. They're tired of not getting hired because of their body. And they're finally like, "Hey, listen, at least I have some money that I can, do the surgery or hire oh my goodness, a personal trainer like
Yeah.
every day to work out with me." Like it's not necessarily that it is their choice, but the pressure makes it not really their choice.
Listen, I will never fault. That's not true. There's one celebrity that I have a big issue with, and it's more so it's not because she lost the weight. It's because she lost weight and that now is very much like, oh, I was never with them. I was never with
Oh,
them. And that is Rebel
I'm
Wilson.
yep.
Fuck
Mhm.
that girl. Right?
Yeah,
Just it's absolutely do what you want with your body, right?
but don't
All
bash
day long.
us
But
in the
don't act like
process.
you were never with us. And like when she put out like a clothing line, I think like
Yes, and
during
it didn't.
COVID, that she didn't even go up to like a size 20, I think. I think she stopped at like an 18. I'm like, baby girl, you wouldn't have been able to fit in your
Yeah,
clothing line. What are you doing? And so that mentality of like, oh, I was never with them, I hate that. I hate that.
yeah.
But I also understand that Rebel Wilson was absolutely, I mean, she was typecast as the fat funny girl, right? She
Mhm.
was constantly, they're all constantly picked apart. Rihanna. Rihanna just got picked apart. She did her first concert in how many years at
Mhm.
this
Wedding or
wedding, right?
something.
And
Yeah.
she got picked apart. She got absolutely picked apart. And this is just what, coming months after she had a baby? And
Mhm.
this is Rihanna, right? Would I love to look like Rihanna? Sure,
Yeah.
right? But this is Rihanna and they're picking her apart. And so I can understand that any celebrity who's like, you know what, I can afford to not be treated like a fat person anymore. I can
Yeah.
understand that. And that's why I do have an issue with like bashing celebrities just for losing weight. I get it.
Mhm.
I get it.
It's hard when you get it from all angles every day, all day. I'm not saying that I would be able to deal with that and not, give in to the pressure. But yeah, like you said with Rebel Wilson, I also have a problem with her with doing that. I think a lot of content creators on TikTok and Instagram, I've seen a few of them also do that, where they get the surgery and they lose a bunch of weight and they're like, "I'm better than you now." And I'm like, "You were me like 6
You
months
were
ago."
me. All these people in society just like have this moral checklist that we just do not fit on. And
Yeah.
they're so mad at us for not living life the way that they think that we should be.
Or just like not taking the, I guess you could say, time to lose the weight and then start living life. Like they want us to hold off on that. And I'm like, I don't care what size you are, healthy, not healthy, you have uh vitamin deficiencies, you don't, whatever. You should just be able to live your life how you want to live it. And unfortunately, the world is not built for people who are not like fully able-bodied and straight-sized and white and male. Um
100%.
so yeah, it's just frustrating. Eh,
100%.
I
I
just
mean,
want to be
even
treated like a Donna.
I decided I was a Donna. I decided I don't give a shit what any of you think about me. It's like I spent my whole life worrying about what other people thought about me that I never stopped to think about what I thought about me.
Mhm.
And I realized that like the
That's so
person who
important.
talked the worst about me was me,
Mhm.
right? And so I had to change and I had to realize like I have to turn that noise off, right? And so
Yeah.
I started fucking acting like a Donna. I was like, and I walk into a room like I am the coolest person I know, right?
She
Like,
is.
not
Yes,
true
that's the
by any means,
but
right?
that's the best way to live your life though.
It is. And then you wind up meeting other people who are the coolest fucking people you know. And
Mhm.
you wind up having this community of the coolest fucking people you know and who just want to live life with you and who
Mhm.
don't care what dress size you're in or what how much money's in your bank account or how many, letters you have next to your name, because you have all these degrees or whatever. Like it's so freeing. It's so
Mhm.
freeing.
It really is. One of my biggest regrets was like when I was in high school, actually, at end of junior high, I stopped doing dance because I was doing basketball. And then when I stopped doing basketball, I waited 2 years to go back to dance because I'm like, oh, I just need to lose X amount of weight before I
Yeah.
can go back to dance. Newsflash, never lost that weight. And then
Yeah.
finally I was like, I'm tired of waiting.
Yeah.
And so I went and I did dance and I loved it. And the only issue is that is really not a space for bigger bodies, like no spaces, but like
Yeah.
dance, especially.
Yeah.
My teachers were great, but I remember I always had to buy two costumes and then also pay a seamstress to like fix them and put them together so that I could
Mhm.
have a costume because they do not make costumes in my size or the size I was when I was in high school. And yeah, so
Yeah. Oh, you should talk to my friend Alyssa. She does the Four Fat Fatties podcast with me. She very much is right now as an adult, she's trying to get reconnected to the Alyssa that loved to dance because
mhm.
she very much took herself out of it. And because of some of those very same things. And
Mm.
we even talked to her about like, what if what if you saw like a reality show about, a young like a teenage dancer who's a fat dancer, like what would that be like for you? And she was like, no, like I lived that and no, like unless things have drastically changed, then no. She's like, I
Yeah.
want to change those things, right? But yeah, she took herself out of dance and she's still trying to figure out how to reconnect with it. I think that you two would find so much to talk about.
Yeah. It's hard when you've taught yourself that, but it's worth unlearning. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm still working on things, but like
Yeah.
my life is so much better than it was a year ago in terms of like my confidence and how I feel about myself. And I'm like, everyone should feel amazing about themselves no matter
Yes.
what. So
Yes. I love that.
there
I
you
love
go.
that.
Everyone should
Hell
feel like Adana because she is the embodiment of not giving any fucks.
yeah. She
And
is. She
I
is.
appreciate
Treat
that.
yourself. Treat yourself like a
Exactly.
Donna.
Always.
I
Okay,
love it.
so in terms of overall positive or negative and for fat representation, what do you think that Parks and Recreation is?
Ugh. I think Parks and Rec has one of the best fat characters I've ever seen on TV
Yes.
and some of the most harmful rhetoric around fat people in general I've ever seen on TV.
Yes.
It's quite a
It
yeah, what
really
about you?
is. For me, I agree with you. I think Donna is the best in terms, well, I there are other ones that I think of, but
Sure.
she is one of the best in
For the
terms of
time
fat
that it was made. For the
representation.
time that it was
Es-
made.
Especially for that, because the ones I'm thinking of that are like also good are more recent.
Right.
And so for that, A plus.
Yeah.
But she's like the only one is
Yeah.
the issue. Like there's Jerry and then there's all the citizens and all the like fat phobic jokes. So I would probably lean more towards negative as much as I love
Yeah.
this show.
Yeah.
I would probably say it's negative
I
fat
would agree.
representation.
I would agree.
Yeah, I hate to say it because, like I said, this is one of my comfort shows. It's one I go to when I want to
Same.
laugh
Yeah.
all the time. This and Gilmore Girls. Those are my
Oh my
shows.
God. Same, girl. Same.
Well, I think that's all for this week's episode. Thank you all for listening, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you for being here. This was so much fun.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you want to plug social medias or anything coming up that you want people to know about?
Absolutely. So I would love it if you would check out just my personal Instagram page at Lights Camera Alley. Like it's like Lights Camera Action, but then you just put Alley at the end, ALLY. Our Four Fab Fatties podcast, we're actually taking a little bit of a break right now to do a little restructuring. So I'll have updates on our podcast on my page.
Nice. Yes. Definitely go follow, go listen. You can also follow our podcast on Instagram at bbb.podcast and TikTok at bbb.thepodcast. And you can follow me on all social media at Carolina Howie. That's Carolina with a K. And until next time, stay fat and fabulous. Bye.